Hi, I'm Dennis with TeraFlex. You know, there still seems to be a lot of talk on the forums lately about tire carriers. One camp says, you don't need a tire carrier. It'll handle your tire just fine on the stock one. The other camp says, nah, it can do some damage. You better have yourself a tire carrier. Once we've lifted our Jeep, it seems like we all up the tire size a little as well, and that also ups the weight. That added weight on the tailgate can do some damage. Now this little beauty belongs to a little soccer mom. Now she also owns a daycare, so she uses this Jeep to transport her precious cargo back and forth to the daycare. You would think of all the people in the world that she would be just fine with a stock carrier, but no, she wanted to upgrade her carrier, and that's what she did. But as we look at this carrier, there seems to be something missing. That's right, boys and girls, there is no spare tire on this. I don't know where she keeps it. Let's take a look. Well, she keeps her spare tire right here where the groceries should be. I wonder why that is. So as we take a closer look at her spare tire, we discovered that it's a 295/70/18. It's not a big tire. But while she was driving down the road, she could hear a popping, cracking sound in the back of her Jeep. She pulled over to take a look to find out what it was. For that, I commend her. This is what she found. When she took a close look, so the first thing she noticed was some of the paint was chipping around each one of her little spot welds. Then when she looked closer, she noticed that some of the spot welds had actually broken loose. And then down below that, the sheet metal had actually torn and ripped away. That's when she decided to take the spare tire off. Good call. This is exactly why most manufacturers require a bumper purchase along with your tire carrier, so that that bumper can carry some of the load so that your tire carrier doesn't have to do all the work. TeraFlex has chosen a different route. We wanted a tire carrier that would be strong enough to handle even the heaviest spare, that would work with a simple one-hand operation to open the tailgate, and it would work with any bumper. That was a tall order, but I think we got it done. The engineering's all there. The install's a piece of cake. All we need to do is adjust it correctly, and this thing's bulletproof. We've got the wheel studs and everything all into the adjusting plate, so we're just going to tighten the spare up against that flange. Just throw one bolt in it. Slide it onto the carrier, push it flat up against the tailgate, and then we're just going to make a mark so that we know how far that adjustable piece was slid into the adjustable carrier. Once we've got the mark done, let's just take the tire back off, separate the tire from the flange. We'll put the flange itself up into the carrier, and we'll use that little paint mark or that scribed line that we just put in it as an indicator as to how deep to put that flange in. Go ahead and put the two bolts through the base of it, the pinch bolts, and just lightly tighten them, just enough to give us some tension on it. Now we'll push the carrier in just so that we can see that paint line, but we're going to push it past the paint line, about 1/8, 1/4 of an inch, somewhere in there, just so that we're going to have a little preload on the side of that tire. So we'll push that in, final tighten those two bolts through the base. Now that we've got the tire mounted back up to the plate, we've got everything tight, there should be absolutely no movement of that tire against the tailgate. It should be pushed hard up against it, maybe even a little bit of a detent in the side of your tire. If you mount your spare, just like we said, tight up against that carrier so that there's no movement, there's no chance of metal fatigue or anything working loose, no vibrations, no noises. That's how the tire carrier is designed to be used and operated. Silent, strong, and it's beautiful.